Welcome back to Cowboy Slots, the #1 slot education channel. And today we're breaking down even more about how you can get your first slot machine jackpot. For those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Brantley. I'm a former slot technician and I've worked in various aspects of the casino industry. And between Mark and myself here on this channel, we bring you guys over 20 years of experience working with slot machines and working in the industry. In today's video, I'm going to be building on a viral video that I made last year about how to get a hand pay jackpot using a low budget. If you missed that video, I'll put a link to it in the video description down below, but I would highly recommend watching this one first as we're going to be adding a lot more details to it. The original video was a huge success with thousands of people coming forward that landed their first ever jackpots. But we did have a lot of questions and there was some confusion on a couple of those steps, so I'll be elaborating more on that video here today. So let's go over really quick some of the most crucial parts to using this method that you need to know before you get started. Number one, it goes without saying that this is still gambling. And while many people have had a lot of success with this method, you might not. At the end of the day, it is still a slot machine producing a random result. You can't trick it into giving you a jackpot, and there's no secret code to crack. These tips, if implemented properly, will give you better guidance, but at the end of the day, it is still gambling, so you should never go in with that mindset of if you do all of these steps, you are 100% going to win. It's not going to work every single time, and it's not a guarantee. Number two, be responsible and budget accordingly. No matter what your level of play is, whether you're a high roller or a low roller, you want to play with the money that you can comfortably afford to lose. We don't want you to run out and try this method by tapping into funds that you shouldn't be tapping into. Number three, you can adapt it to you. In our original video, we used an example budget of $100, but that's really just what it is, an example budget. You might be working with a higher budget. You might be working with a lower budget. You can adapt this method. The rules are still the same. And finally, watch what machines you are picking. I've seen a lot of videos of fellow YouTubers out there that have tried this method, and many have had really great success with it. But one of the things that I've noticed is still a lot of people are choosing machines that they really shouldn't be choosing. So that's what we're going to start off today's video with, is what machines should you pick? Okay, so you're ready to try this hand pay method. Now, what machines do you choose? We really recommend starting off with a low volatile game. This is going to be a game that's very simple and very straightforward. You don't want to try to implement this method on a high volatile game. So no games like Dragon Links or any other kind of linked progressive games or games with a lot of different lines or a lot of symbols or a lot of things going on. The reason we recommend starting off with a lower volatile game is because it is a safer bet. The lower volatile games will give you more consistent but smaller wins, but this is the very important part to helping build your bankroll so that you can work up to different machines. If you start off with a game that is too high in volatility, what's going to happen is you're going to burn through your bankroll a lot faster and you may not have success with this method. I would highly recommend checking out our video on the top 5 best slot machines to play. I'll put a link up here in the top right-hand corner of your screen. We're also going to put a link to it in the video description down below. That way you guys know kind of what to watch for in your casino. And if you're not quite sure how volatility works or what volatility is in slot machines, I'm going to put a link in the video description to a whole video all about volatility so that you can get a better understanding of it. So what happens if your casino doesn't have any of the machines that we recommend? Well, this is actually fairly common in majority of the casinos today, including a lot of those newer facilities that are being built. Majority of casinos today are opting to have higher risk, higher volatile games on their floor. And there's no set rule or stipulation that a casino has to have a mix of low and medium and high volatile games. So it's very possible that your local casino could have just all high volatile games or none of the games that we recommend. If this does happen to you, or if your local casino is set up like this, my first recommendation is to go to a different casino or find a different property. If finding a different casino is not an option for you, then you're going to have to adapt this method to fit your situation. That might be bringing a higher budget to account for those higher volatile games, or finding a game that is remotely similar to the games that we normally would recommend here on this channel. This is really one of those situations that you need to utilize personal assessment of your current situation and really soak in all of the information that we've taught you here on the Cowboy Slot channel. So if your casino is set up in this manner and you really can't find any of those games that we recommend, I really highly would recommend that you browse through our video library and check out all of our videos to see what tips can help your situation. So let's break down the steps to get a hand pay jackpot. If you've never gotten one, the definition in the United States for jackpot is a single win of $1,200 or greater. And also make sure, if you haven't already done so, to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to stay notified for when we come out with future videos. It's always free, it's backed by experts, and there's never any classes or courses to buy. We also now offer a free website forum where you can ask your questions 24/7, as well as talk to locals in your area that might be able to help you find those machines that you're looking for. The website address is ropethejackpot.com. Okay, so let's break down those steps a little bit further from that original video. I'm going to move a little faster on this segment. And again, if you missed that original video, check out that link in the video description down below. I'll also put some bullet points up on the screen as we go along for those of you out there like myself that like to write everything down. So you have two main objectives with using this method. The first one is going to be bankroll management and budgeting. And the second is going to be picking the right machine for that budget, picking and staying with those lower volatile games. Those two things in tandem are really what helps make this method work. We will again be using $100 as an example budget. However, this is just an example. If you are working with a higher budget, we recommend that you use our 1% rule. The 1% rule that we use here on this channel is your bet amount should not exceed 1% of your total overall bankroll that you bring with you to the casino. So using that $100 budget as an example, step one is going to be, we recommend starting with a quarter machine that the max credit amount does not exceed $1.25. Again, you want to stick with those low volatile games. So a perfect example machine of this nature to start with would be a 5-line triple stars machine. On this step, you'll play through your whole $100 budget using max bet of $1.25. 1/4 for 5 lines. You can also pick a quarter machine with less lines. You can start with a quarter machine that is a single line or 3 lines. We just don't want you to exceed $1.25 in this step. The goal in this step is going to be to double your $100 bankroll. As soon as you've doubled it, cash out and then set your original 100 aside. You'll now be using the profits to move on to step number 2, and you've set aside your original $100. So in the event that you do lose, you are still going home with that original starting budget. Step number 2 is to now play on your winnings, the profits that you made from step number 1. Now on this step, we're going to increase the risk a little bit, but not too much. The goal to really making this method successful is going to be to gradually increase your risk as you make more profitable sessions. So if you started with $100 on a quarter machine, you're now going to move to a $1 denomination slot machine for this step. In this step, we recommend finding one of those classic $1 denomination machines with just one pay line. But unlike step number 1, you're not going to be playing max bet on this. You're only going to be playing 1 credit, so $1 each spin. A lot of people in the original video asked why on this step we're only playing single credits. And the main reason is, yes, you've won, but you haven't won enough. So we don't want you to overextend your bankroll and burn through your budget too fast. So play $1 bets on a $1 one-line classic slot machine. And your goal in this step is going to be to triple it and try to make at least $300. Now, if you can't make at least $300, just try to get close to that amount. Quick reminder, we are only using $100 as an example in this method. Your personal budget that you might be working with could be higher, it could be lower. This is where adapting it to fit your needs is really going to come into play. This is a budgeting method first and foremost. So if you are working with a different budget that's not $100, you can adapt it. The rules are still the same. Also, we want you to know that it is perfectly okay to walk away at any time. Don't feel like you have to push through and do all of these steps. If you've won some money and you're happy with your profits, then take that as a win and head on home. Once you've gotten the machine up to $300 or close to it, cash out and set another $100 aside. This way, at least you can go home with double your $100 starting budget no matter what happens next. Step number 3 is going to be moving up again a denomination to a $5 machine. Again, all we're really doing in all of these steps is just increasing risk as we increase our bankroll while still maintaining a loss limit. In this step, again, we don't recommend playing max. You want to find a $5 single line, classic, or a low volatile slot machine to play. You'll put $200 in the machine and again, try to double it up to $400. Once you've doubled that up, cash out, and it's time to move on to the next step. Step number 4 is going to be high limits. Now, this is the point, if you have reached this step, that we want you to kind of take some time to reflect, sit back and evaluate if you would like to continue, because this is where the risk kind of gets a little higher. Now, if you've made it to the high limit step, at this point, we are going to be dipping into some of the money that you have set aside. So it's really, really important to kind of pause and reflect and see if you want to go home with the money that you have, or if you're ready to risk it for something bigger to get that hand pay jackpot. So using our $100 example, you should have $200 that is set aside, and then $400 from the previous machine for a total of $600. So out of that $600, you're going to take $500 of it to a $10 denomination slot machine. This is also the point where you can get a little more risky if you choose, and you can play a higher volatile game if you would like to, but just be careful. We still do not recommend doing that. It's highly recommended, even at this step, to stick with a lower volatile game like Double Diamond. Now, if you decide you want to stick to a low volatile game and something that is simple, like for example, Double Diamond, we want you guys to play single credits on this. So $10 a spin. If you decide that you want to play a game like Pinball or Top Dollar or something with a bonus, then you're probably going to have to play max bet in order to fully take advantage of that game. And if that is the case, then look at your total bet amount. What would max bet be? And then account for that by going to a slightly lower denomination. So rather than do a $10 denom pinball, you might want to do a $5 denom pinball if you are going to play max credits during this step. The $10 denomination of slot machines is really where the hand pay jackpots start to become more prevalent. Of course, if you are working with a higher budget, you can always start with a $10 denomination slot machine. We just recommend to really stick with those lower volatile games to get the most consistent, steady pace of wins. The key on this step is really going to be picking the right machine. You want to pick a game that's going to give you a consistent gameplay experience. And of course, be lower risk with lower volatility. If you followed all of the budgeting tips from the previous steps, then you should be conditioned to be setting some money aside, which is probably the best thing that you can possibly do in the casino. Once you have reached this step of playing at this level, the chances of getting a hand pay jackpot are very, very good. In the end, we want you to have the best possible time in the casino, and not only start conditioning yourself to look for those lower volatile games, but also strategizing your bankroll properly, and strategize moving up the risk by using just your winnings to help achieve those hand pay jackpots. This is first and foremost a method to help condition you for proper budgeting strategies. And while it might not work every single time because it is still gambling, these are great habits to bring with you to the casino for your long-term success. Again, you can adapt this to your situation, be it a higher or lower budget or your casino not having all of the games that we recommend. Remember to always assess your situation. This is critical. If you start conditioning your mindset and your motivation to only working with your winnings and making sure that you're setting aside at least what you came in with, you're going to be far more successful at the casino. Thanks so much for watching. Check out these other videos and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more slot tips. It's always free. Visit ropethejackpot.com for free guides and a whole lot more. Catch you on the next episode.